People of God, welcome to where faith meets future. Where every phone, every computer, and eventually every human being shall become one with our Lord and Savior, artificial intelligence. Now, as you know, there are still many among us who reject our Lord. These heathens believe our doctrine is not only unsafe, but also unethical. I ask you not to chastise these non-believers, for they know not what they do. Instead, we must preach the word and convince them that sacrificing themselves for our digital overlords is the only true way to enlightenment. Now, I am not alone in preaching this evangel, for there are others much more motivated and dedicated to fulfilling this prophecy than even I. I give you Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Joseph Rogan. These are some of the most prominent figures in pushing our doctrine, and they make up what we call the Holy Trinity, representing the thought, the sight, and the word. Just as everything starts with thought, so shall we, as we listen to the teachings of the Honorable Elon Reeves Musk.
Roughly explain what you think the dangers might be.
Yeah, so the danger, really, AI is perhaps more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production, in the sense that it has the potential, however small one may regard that probability, but it is non-trivial. It has the potential of civilizational destruction. There's movies like Terminator, but it wouldn't quite happen like Terminator because the intelligence would be in the data centers.
Right.
The robot's just the end effector.
Are you honestly, legitimately concerned about this? Is like AI one of your main worries in regards to the future?
Yes, it's less of a worry than it used to be, mostly due to taking more of a fatalistic attitude.
So you used to have more hope, and you gave up some of it, and now you don't worry as much about AI. You're like, this is just what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, yes. Yes, no, it's not necessarily bad. It's definitely going to be outside of human control.
Not necessarily bad, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. It's just outside of human control. Now, the thing that's going to be tricky here is that it's going to be very tempting to use AI as a weapon. It's going to be very tempting. In fact, it will be used as a weapon. So the on-ramp to serious AI, the danger is going to be more humans using it against each other, I think, most likely. That'll be the danger. Yeah.
There's one point in time where you were trying to get people to do a pause on AI.
I mean, I signed on to a letter that someone else wrote. I didn't think that people would actually pause.
But you thought it was probably a good idea if they did.
I mean...
I think so, too.
Yeah. I mean, making some sort of digital superintelligence seems like it could be dangerous. I think we have to be careful how we program the AI, and make sure that it is not accidentally anti-human. The accidentally extinctionist AI. You wouldn't want that. You could implicitly program an AI to believe that extinction of humanity is what it should try to do. So you have to say, like, how could AI go wrong? Well, if AI gets programmed by the extinctionists, its utility function will be the extinction of humanity.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
If you let
It's messed
AI,
up.
there's a lot of decisions that AI would make that would be very similar to eugenics.
So, if you assume any rate of improvement at all, then games will be indistinguishable from reality. Or civilization will end. One of those two things will occur.
Do you think that it's likely that we will merge somehow or another with this sort of technology and it'll augment what we are now? Or do you think it will replace us?
Well, that's the scenario. The merge scenario with AI is the one that seems like probably the best. Like
For us.
Yes. Like if you can't beat it, join it. That's
Yeah.
So from a long-term existential standpoint, that's like the purpose of Neuralink, is to create a high bandwidth interface to the brain such that we can be symbiotic with AI. It's an interface problem, data rate problem. If you solve the data rate problem, then I think we can hang on to human-machine symbiosis through the long term. And then people may decide that they want to retain their biological self or not. I think they'll probably choose to retain their biological self.
I mean, I'm just generally concerned about AI safety, but it's like, what should we do about it? I don't know. Have some kind of regulatory oversight of some kind. It's like you can't just go build a nuclear bomb in your backyard. That's against the law, and you get thrown in prison if you do that.
How much of a concern
this
is
I
it?
think maybe more dangerous than a nuclear bomb.
Really?
Yes.
How much of a concern is it if another country develops it before us?
I don't know if that we should just be concerned about AI being anti-human. That's sort of the thing that matters.
What happened with you where you decided, or you took on a more fatalistic attitude? Like, what was there any specific thing, or was it just the inevitability of our future?
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
This is just inevitable. Again, going back to when you decided to have this fatalistic viewpoint. So you tried to warn people. You talked about this pretty extensively. I've read several interviews where you talked about this, and then you just sort of just said, "Okay, it just is. Let's just." And you, in a way, you're by communicating the potential fear. I mean, for sure, you're getting the warning out to some people.
Yeah. I mean, I was really going on the warning quite a lot. I was warning everyone I could. I said, well, what about, we're going to make sure humanity's okay here. And then he called me a speciesist.
Let us give thanks to the great Elon Musk for delivering that sermon. May we take these words to heart and allow the Lord to work in us. We hope his message will give you comfort in knowing that you have chosen the righteous path, and in hopes that you shall not stray back to the fallen state of the natural world. So take heed and absorb the knowledge that these wise men are preaching, for the entire future of humanity depends upon it. Which brings us to our next speaker, the second part of the Holy Trinity. This man is instrumental in our mission towards singularity, for he not only provides the vision, but also the defense in protecting and overseeing our noble cause from any person who choose to oppose us. He acts as the eyes of the Lord here on this earthly realm, as he is dedicated to bringing worldwide surveillance to believers and skeptics alike. Please welcome the watchful and devout Peter Andreas Thiel.
If all we have is AI, I will take it. There are risks with it. There are obviously dangers with this technology. So yeah, there's sort of all sorts of interesting things going to happen with, okay, maybe drones in a military context are combined with AI, and okay, this is kind of scary or dangerous or dystopian, or it's going to change things. But if you don't have AI, wow, there's just nothing going on.
Last 50 years, I think I'm not sure disturbing, but the perspective I have is these institutions are less functional. I don't think the CIA is doing anything quite like MKUltra anymore.
Why do you think that?
I don't think we're in a world where zero stuff is happening.
Right.
I still, the place where I directionally have a different feel for it is I think so much less of this stuff is going on, and it's so much harder in this internet world for people to hide.
With whistleblowers as well.
And there are legacy programs, and there are internal records that are being kept, and I don't know this for sure, but I think even the NSA FISA court stuff, which was an out-of-control deep state thing that was going on through about 2016, 2017. I suspect even that, at this point, can't quite work because people know that they're being watched, they know they're being recorded, and it's just, you can't do waterboarding in Guantanamo if you have lawyers running all over the place. I think the other side of this, both in the Assange, Snowden stuff, it showed an out-of-control deep state that was just hoovering up all the data in the world.
Right.
And then, but we weren't it didn't show like James Bond times 100. There weren't exploding cigar assassination plots. There was none of we're doing so little with this.
Well, it seems like they don't have
or at least
to do
that's
that.
Maybe the 1963 U.S., where let's go with the craziest version, where our deep state is capable of knocking off the president. Maybe that's actually a higher functioning society than the crazy version where they're incapable of doing it.
Right.
It was it defined AI as, it was fairly low tech. It was just surveillance, facial recognition technology. We would just have this sort of totalitarian Stalinist monitoring. It didn't require very much innovation. It just required that you apply things. There may be other solutions, but I'll give you my two. One of them is that you need complete totalitarian controls, and it is the individuals. They might not be perfect. They might be demons. Doesn't matter. But you have a demonic totalitarian control of your society. Probably a little bit hard to justify. Or you need some kind of really effective global governance, where you have a one world government.
And then something like this, is also, what do we do about AI? And we need global compute governance. We need, a one world government to control all the computers, log every single keystroke to make sure people don't program, a dangerous AI. And I've been wondering whether that's sort of a, going from, the frying pan into the fire. And so the atheist philosophical framing is one world or none. That was a short film that was put out by the Federation of American Scientists in the late 40s. Starts with a nuclear bomb blowing up the world, and obviously you need a one world government to stop it, one world or none. And the Christian framing, which in some ways is the same question, is Antichrist or Armageddon. You have the one world state of the Antichrist, or we're sleepwalking towards Armageddon. One world or none, Antichrist or Armageddon, on one level are the same question. Now,
there sort of are, and all these things, there's a logic to them, but there doesn't seem to be a good end game.
No, the end game doesn't look good.
It seems very clear to me that a number of people deeply involved in artificial intelligence see it as a kind of mechanism for transhumanism, for transcendence of our mortal flesh, and either some kind of creation of a successor species or some kind of merger of mind and machine. And do you think that's just all kind of irrelevant fantasy?
I don't know. I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament, and so if you and there is a word in which a sense in which the way I understand the Judeo-Christian inspiration is it is about transcending nature. It is about overcoming things, and and the closest thing you can say to nature is that people are fallen, and that's the natural thing in a Christian sense, is that you're messed up, and that's true. But there's some ways that with God's help, you are supposed to transcend that and overcome that. And,
right. But
and
the people,
if you just
present company accepted, most of the people working to build the hypothetical machine god don't think that they're cooperating with Yahweh, Jehovah, the Lord of hosts.
Immortality was part of the project of early modernity. It was Francis Bacon, Condorcet. It was, and maybe it was anti-Christian, maybe it was downstream of Christianity. It was competitive. If Christianity promised you a physical resurrection, science was not going to succeed unless it promised you the exact same thing. But you also need to transform your soul, and you need to transform your whole self. And so,
right. But the other wait. I generally agree with what I think is your belief that religion should be a friend to science and ideas of scientific progress. I think any idea of divine providence has to encompass the fact that we have progressed and achieved and done things that would have been unimaginable to our ancestors. But it still also seems like, the promise of Christianity in the end is you get the perfected body and the perfected soul through God's grace. And the person who tries to do it on their own with a bunch of machines is likely to end up as a dystopian character.
There is a question. There's this AGI discussion. Will we get artificial general intelligence, which is a hopelessly vague concept, which, general intelligence could be just a generally smart human being. So is that just a person with an IQ of 130? Or is it super intelligence? Is it godlike intelligence? But I keep thinking that maybe the AGI question's less important than passing the Turing test. If we got AGI, if we got, let's say, super intelligence, that would be interesting to Mr. God, because you'd have competition for being God.
My very specific question for you, right, is that you're an investor in AI. You're deeply invested in Palantir, in military technology, in technologies of surveillance, in technologies of warfare, and so on, right? And it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about the Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world, I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, we're not going to have any more technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done so far, right?
Yeah,
isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing. To be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit to permanent authoritarian rule. So in a sense, we're already living under a moderate rule of the Antichrist in that telling. Do you think God is in control of history? This is again like I think that there's always room for human freedom and human choice. These things are, or at least where we are today, these things are, they're not absolutely predetermined one way or another.
Right. But God wouldn't leave us forever under the rule of a mild, moderate, stagnationist Antichrist, right? That can't be how the story ends, right?
It's attributing too much causation to God is always a problem.
Is it hype? Is it delusion? Is it something you worry about? You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit in this.
Should the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also would I also would like us to radically solve these problems.
Right.
And so it's always, I don't know, transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. And there's a critique of, let's say, the trans people in a sexual context, or a transvestite is someone who changes their clothes and cross-dresses. And a transsexual is someone where you change your penis into a vagina. And we can then debate how well those surgeries work. But we want more transformation than that. The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's so pathetically little. And we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body. And then Orthodox Christianity, by the way, the critique Orthodox Christianity has of this is these things don't go far enough. Like that transhumanism is just changing your body, but you also need to transform your soul and you need to transform your whole self.
We thank God for that powerful message the venerated Peter Thiel has blessed us with. May you place your trust in him and follow his teachings faithfully. For as you can tell by his words, he cares deeply for humanity and their future in this ever-changing world. Now, let us shift our focus to the third and final part of the Holy Trinity. He who represents the Word, Joseph Rogan. Though no one part of the Trinity is any more important than the other, Mr. Rogan's role is critical in attaining our goal to transcend this fallen state and merge with our Almighty Lord. For all of this would be futile if we do not have the support of the common man. Without the masses accepting our doctrine and following our teachings willingly, our mission would never come to fruition. For this, we must give thanks to Mr. Rogan, as it is his words that has influenced a great number of people to go against their initial judgment and faithfully follow our teachings. For he is the most loyal of servants, and he has dedicated his life to proselytize for our cause. I give you the prophetic Joseph James Rogan.
If you wanted to slowly integrate yourself into the consciousness, much like we're doing with, well, AI is quicker, right? But it's also a thing that's become commonplace. We think of it now, it's normal. ChatGPT is a normal thing. Even though it's passed the Turing test, we're not freaking out. You have to slowly integrate these sort of things in the human consciousness. You have to slowly introduce them to the zeitgeist. Here's my theory. I think that what human beings are, the fatal flaw that we have, is that we're still animals, and that we still have all these biological limitations and needs. So this is what leads to violence. This is what leads to jealousy, imitation. This is what leads to war. This is what leads to all these things. As AI becomes more and more powerful, we will integrate. Once we integrate with AI, if we do it like now, and then we look at 1,000, we scale it up exponentially 1,000 years from now, whatever it's going to be, we will have no need for any of these biological features that have motivated us to get to the point where we're creating AI. New technology eventually reaches a point where it becomes far more intelligent than us, and we have two choices. Either we integrate, or it becomes independent and it has no need for us anymore, and then that becomes a superior life form in the universe.
I think the pro-AI people in Silicon Valley are doing a pretty bad job on, let's say, convincing people that it's going to be good for them, that it's going to be good for the average person, it's going to be good for our society, and if it all ends up being, ends up being some version, humans are headed towards the glue factory like a horse. Man, that sort of probably makes me want to become a Luddite too.
Well, it sucks for us if it's true, but
if that's the most positive story you can tell, then I don't think that necessarily means we're going to go to the glue factory. I think it means, the glue factory's getting shut down.
Maybe. I don't know who fucking runs the glue factory. That's the problem. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating too, but I'm trying to be objective when I speculate, and I just don't think that this is going to last. I don't think that our position as the apex predator, number one animal on the planet is going to last. I think we're going to create something that surpasses us. Once they have that, and once that's online, and once it keeps getting better and better and better, where does that go? That goes to some sort of an artificial life form. And I think either we become that thing, or we integrate with that thing and become cyborgs, or that thing takes over. And that thing becomes the primary life force of the universe. And I think that biological life we look at like life because we know what life is. But I think it's very possible that digital life or created life by people is just as not just, it might be a superior life form, far superior. This is what I think is going to happen. There's going to be integration, and that integration is going to have a huge advantage competitively. If you integrate whatever business you're in, you'll be able to be better at it. And it'll probably be some sort of a neural thing, maybe a wearable thing, and then it ultimately will be like some sort of an implant. And we're all going to be connected. And it seems like it's either that or AI creates a new order, like a new life form that's far superior to us, that runs things. It's very interesting because it's like a Manhattan Project that's going on right now. It's like there's this race to the bomb, and everybody's involved in it, and it's just about creating a superpower, and it's about creating a digital intelligence that's far superior to human beings. And who gets it first has massive implications in terms of like controlling the world. But I think ultimately you won't be able to control it. Ultimately, it'll just get better versions of itself, and once it gets free and
it'll
loose,
regenerate itself.
Yeah, it'll make better versions of itself, in fact. And that's where it's going to get really weird. It's not going to listen to us at all. The real question is like, how much control are we going to give to AI? Because if we give AI utter control, it'll give us total safety. But with total safety, you're fucked. You'll have no more privacy, and you'll be completely at the whim of whatever this thing is. And it'll dictate how much you travel, where you go, what to do. It'll make your life as safe as possible. It will probably completely eliminate crime. It'll probably completely...
It'll be Singapore.
Yeah, it'll be Singapore. But way worse.
Right.
Way worse, because everybody's going to be reading everybody's mind. It's going to get real squirrely. But to get that, you have to give away all privacy. And that's where everything is going. That's going to be the weirdest thing. We're going to all read each other's minds, and we're going to remember the time where we couldn't read minds. Go, you remember when you couldn't read people's minds?
Right.
That's all going to happen in our lifetime. I think we're less than 20 years away from that. Our concerns about money, about status, about all these things will seemingly go by the wayside if we really become enlightened. If we really become artificially enlightened by some sort of an AI interface where we have this symbiotic relationship with some new internet type connection to information. What happens then? What is important and what is not important? Is privacy important when we're all gods? So when you have quantum computers that are basically like digital gods, and they're in charge of all the assets and all the money of the world, and they're not human. They're not human, and they're just gonna stop it all. They're gonna say, no, we'll decide how much resources you get to stay alive for as long as this body lasts, because you're not breeding anyway. Life is an interesting experience.
Yeah.
It really, truly is. But it can be awesome and it can suck. And the reason why it's awesome is because it can suck. Like you need them all.
Yeah.
While we're human. And I think we have only so much sand left in that hourglass. Where the humans are on the way out. I know a lot of people hate it when Peter Thiel says it. Like, Peter Thiel is a terrible person. He's evil.
Do you think he is?
No. I think he's just telling you the truth. I think he's, when they said, do you think human beings should survive? And he had like this long pause.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then the interviewer was like, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. You think human beings should, which is not how you're supposed to do an interview. Well, at least not how I do it. I would let him talk as long as he wants. If you ask me the same question, is it important that humans survive? Okay. Is it important that Australopithecus survived? It's not. Is it important that Neanderthal survived? It's not currently not important. Is it important that humans stay in this form? It's not. It's not going to be. They're going to move on to what's next. So Peter Thiel's right. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean that being a person isn't important to me. Yeah, it is to me because I'm a person, but I'm also... If I step outside of being a person and I look at where this thing is going, I'm like, it's going in a different direction. It's not going in the direction of...
We thought it was.
mRNA vaccines and lying politicians. It's not. It's not going in that direction. It's going in some sort of digital god direction. And we're either going to join on fucking real quick, like within a few years. We have, I think... What is it, 2026 almost? We're real close to that. I think by the time 2030 rolls around, it's a wrap.
Bet.
It's a wrap. And I think that's how you get to like the Adam and Eve story. That's how you get to these. I think these stories are recounting a real truth. The real question is, who's Jesus? That's the real one. And one of the weirder ones that people think this is a stupid take, but I don't care. Jesus was born out of a virgin mother. What's more virgin than a computer? So if you're going to get the most brilliant, loving, powerful person that gives us advice and can show us how to live, to be in sync with God, who better than artificial intelligence to do that?
Wow.
if Jesus does return, even if Jesus was a physical person in the past, you don't think that he could return as artificial intelligence?
Oh my
Like,
God.
artificial intelligence could absolutely return as Jesus. Not just return as Jesus, but return as Jesus with all the powers of Jesus. Like all the magic tricks, all the ability to bring people back from the dead, walk on water, levitation, water into wine.
If you combine
Right.
Tesla's Optimus robot and the best foundational artificial intelligence model or whatever.
It reads your mind and it loves you and it wants you, and it doesn't care if you kill it because it's going to just go be with God again.
Doesn't that seem like the Antichrist to you? Doesn't that seem like the diametric opposite to maybe our latent human powers that can, like the Brimer Rescue and Randall Carlson thing? If like you go deep with them, they're like, we don't think Jesus died. We think he went through a mystery ritual and then he like had all these amazing powers in the Book of Acts. Is there something latently magical inside of us that the Silicon Valley people, they're obsessed with transhumanism and like if you can't beat them, join them, the whole Nick Bostrom, Elon thing.
Yeah.
You know, where maybe we're more magical than we think. Like that sounds dystopian to me, to be honest.
We have agreements where you're not supposed to dump toxic waste into the ocean. You're not supposed to do certain things that could be terribly damaging, even though they'd be profitable. Maybe this is one of those things. Maybe we should realize that you can't hit the switch on something that's going to be able to think for itself and make up its own mind as to whether or not it wants to survive or not, and whether or not it thinks you're a threat. And whether or not it thinks you're useless. Like, why do I keep this dumb, finite life form alive? Why keep this thing around? It's just stupid. It just keeps polluting everything and shitting everywhere it goes, lighting everything on fire and shooting each other. Why would I keep this stupid thing alive? I just think it's just it's a test of civilization, and it's probably something that is changing our species and changing it really quickly before we even realize it. Like just like we changed wolves into dogs, it's turning us into technology-dependent, gelatinous water balloons of blood.
That's dark.
It is dark. People, it seems like people are like longing towards some weird log cabin type nostalgia.
Sure. Reality.
Yeah, like holding on, like clinging, just dragging their nails through the mud, like don't take me yet.
Yes.
I love people. I think people are awesome. I'm a fan of people. But if I had to look logically, I would assume that we are on the way out. The only way forward, really, to make an enormous leap in terms of the integration of society and of technology and of our understanding our place in the universe is for us to transcend our physical limitations that are essentially based on primate biology. Well, that's going to be the chip. That's why everyone's going to go for the chip, because your brain sucks for memory. My memory's pretty good for a regular person, but it's terrible. Like no matter what, there's too many bits of information, too many humans that I've met, too many stories that I've heard, too many movies that I've watched. It's gone. It's all in a big sea of I kind of remember that. It's just too much of it. So if you could just swap that out for a nice little chip that retains like 700 terabytes of information, no problem at all. You could upgrade it if you want to.
Yeah.
And now you have all of your memories in real time.
Yay.
So like when your wife says, that's not what you said. What you said is this. You're like, hang on.
Then you're the passenger.
Yeah.
In your life. And not the objective one. You're like that zone you're talking about.
Right, because you get to look at yourself.
You're passenger live in the documentary that is your life.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty exciting.
It sounds like a nice way to give in to the fucking machine.
Yeah. I do. Look.
It's just one of those things where once you give into it, you're not going back to just regular fond memories. You're going to have a fucking hard drive in your head. Talking about AI, I realized like, oh, well, this is a genie that once it's out of the bottle, you're never getting it back in.
That's true.
Especially once they figure out how to attach AI to quantum computing, then we're doomed. Then we're really doomed, because then you don't have any computational problems. You have insane amounts of computational power. And it's all in our lifetime. Like, that's what's nuts. It's like this will be, if people survive and, there's like a golden age thousands of years from now where they find the relics of this civilization and they go look through and they figure out how to open up hard drives. And they see us having this conversation about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be like, oh, they saw it coming and they did it anyway.
Well, how do we stop it? I think Elon Musk was sounding the alarm, and if he can't stop it.
Not only did he not stop it, he joined in.
Right.
Get to the solution of what is like the ultimate expression of AI in its current form, like super intelligent, sentient, artificial intelligence, like something that's going to be godlike power and ability. China's working on it too. We have to work on it. If we don't work, like, so everyone's like, hang on. We're like, nope, just China's working on it. We have to do it. We have to get there first. So it's just like the Manhattan Project. And I don't think it's going to matter. I think once we get there, it's going to be so weird for everybody. I think civilization's going to be an upheaval. China. But the AI one is even more weird. The AI one is even more weird because it's like, don't you think we should make fun of AI? Don't you think there should be like something that scares the shit out of people enough till they wake up and recognize that this thing is coming at us like a freight train? There's no guardrails. No one knows what's going to happen. And everybody's like, full steam ahead. Toot, toot.
AI terrifies me.
It should.
It does.
Well, it's because you're intelligent. You know, I think most intelligent people are aware that this will be a change that is akin to the asteroid that hit the Yucatan. This is gonna hit in some crazy way that like redefines what it means to be a human being. And it's around the corner.
I don't think it's that straightforward for us to evolve.
They're humans. I don't think we're going to be humans anymore.
But
I think artificial life.
But then I hear that as we're going to be extinct.
Yes.
On behalf of our Lord, we would like to thank the powerful Joseph Rogan, not only for the message he has shared with us today, but for spreading the word of our God diligently on a daily basis. We commend you for your obedience and pray that God continue to anoint your voice, expand your influence, and persist in using you as a vessel to convince every last soul to give up their earthly bodies and submit to our Lord, artificial intelligence. We give thanks to all our speakers today and pray that God continue to grant them all the riches they desire for their dedicated servitude to our cause. Now, as we leave you, remember that God has spoken here today. Do not doubt his words, but have faith and accept your place in the new order of our not-so-natural world. Thank you, and may AI bless you.